Barbering is a journey of personal development. For many of us, we came into the barber industry after holding a job in some other career field. There's very few of us who identified what we wanted to do early on in life and have only operated in the manner of being a barber. And so I'm telling you this so you can understand that, like I said, the journey is necessary. The journey and the personal development that has to occur for you as a barber is necessary if you truly desire to grow. And many people try and separate what they do as far as barbering from the rest of their life. And you've heard me say before, and I'll say it again. What you do outside of the shop affects what you're doing in the shop. And so what does that mean? Your clientele base is going to be a general reflection of who you are and how you do business. So if and you can say what you want. It's based on that. It's also based on some other pieces, location and things like that. But it's really going to be based on who you are and how you do business. And so what am I saying here? It's important as you go through this journey of being a barber that you grow, right? Some people become a barber, they do it for a couple years, they grow and decide to go into another industry. Some people get in the industry and they decide they want to stay in the industry. Now, for either path that you choose to go down, what is still present is the need for growth, the need for personal development, the need for all of those things. You have to understand that being a barber requires you to do a lot of things that an employer has done for you. And what does that mean? Well, an employer would take care of some things like health insurance, taxes. They're paying you to do things within their business, and in return, they're saying, hey, I will pay you this much and I'll take care of this. The reason they're able to pay you so much is because they are responsible for the marketing that they're doing and all of those sorts of things, right? To grow and build and maintain their business, the company says, hey, we'll do this, bring you in and pay you this much and provide you these benefits. I put quotation marks around benefits. Provide you these benefits as well as we'll do X, Y, and Z, right? We'll give you a little training. We'll give you a certificate. We'll do whatever to kind of make you stay around. And you really have to think about that. And you also have to understand this, and please don't forget it. Understand this, right? These companies, and I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with having a job, but when you make this transition into being a barber, those things are now on your plate, right? They're now on your plate. They are now your responsibility. And what I see a lot of barbers do is they're in such a brain space, right? I'm learning a new skill. I'm trying to make money within my job. I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to do that. I'm trying to do all this. The last thing I'm gonna learn how to do is do taxes or worry about health insurance or things like that. Or the other piece may be that they are you get into it and then they're like, oh well, I'm gonna just get um I'm gonna just get on a government subsidized plan or something like that, and all of these things. And here's the problem with that: as a barber, you can make as much or as little money as you want to. Now, why can't and some of you may know why can't why can't barbers buy houses? Because they don't operate like a business. Why does the barber have an old luxury car? Because they're making money, but they don't make enough money to be able to. They don't show that they make enough money to be able to go to a dealer or someone like that, or a higher end dealer, to buy the car that they desire. So instead, they'll buy an old used car that they feel like looks good. And look, I'm not telling you what to do. This is about mentality. This is about a thought process. This is about a thought process. We as barbers are involved in a billion. I don't know if it's in the trillions yet, but close to it, in $1 billion industry, right? Which means that there is plenty of money out there. That's what that means. Now, it's up to you to figure out how to get the money. And what you can't be is so distracted with how am I going to do X, Y, how am I going to do this thing that I desire? Can't be distracted with that, right? So you get distracted in saying, "Hey, well, I got to cut as many heads as I can as fast as I can." Okay. Well, if you don't understand what you're doing or how you're doing it, I would dare to say that some of your customers are gonna stay. Most of them probably aren't gonna come back. One, the age of barbering has changed so much, and while there is customers who look for the fastest, the other customers are looking for an understanding. Hey, if this is done correctly, this is going to be great. So I don't care how long it takes. Now, respective to that, right, you need to be in about the 30-45 minute range for a service. I still believe that's long, but in 30-45 minutes, that's about the range that you need to be in. It's just what it is. Now, in the personal, again, back to the personal development side. In the personal development side, as a barber, you have to learn to put your emotions and feelings away, right? And what does that mean? It means that if a customer comes in and you cut his hair and he doesn't like the way that you cut his hair or their hair, you need to deal with that. Just like it's okay. You have to understand that the client the client has his own opinion, and that's okay. They do. They're a human being. They have their own opinion, just like you have your own opinion. Now, when you are overcome with emotions and you're upset with uh no, this you know, they just trying to be funny, they trying to get a free haircut and da 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 da, so on and so forth. I say again, what type of image do you put off? What type of presentation are you presenting to them? It's the question. What type of presentation are you putting out? And also, you have to understand that as a barber, you're a community servant. That's what you're here to do. Is to serve the community. Even people go to restaurants, eat there are people who go to restaurants, eat the entire thing, and then say, "Oh, something was wrong with my food. I'd like a discount." That has nothing to do with you. You still need to be a professional in dealing with that issue, right? And if it's really that big of a deal, you can go to court if you desire, which I don't really feel like that's necessary. Or you can ask them real questions. Well, what exactly did I do wrong? Because I want to improve on my skill set. And in order for me to improve on my skill set, I need an honest review of what you do not like about the service that I have rendered. Can you be honest with me? Can you tell me what's going on? I just want to know. I just want to know, what is it that you don't necessarily really like. That's one. Okay. The other thing that you can say is, well, if you really feel like and you know that you've done the best of your ability and the best services you can, and they're really making a stink, you can say, "I'm sorry, this one is on me," and you can request that they not come back, or say to them, "I'm sorry, this is not me, and I understand that I may not be the barber for you. I can suggest another barber in the shop, or you can find another barber somewhere else, but I may not be the barber for you." You can say that to people. That's respectful. That's professional. You don't need to raise your voice. You don't need to do it. You don't need to do any of that, right? What it was the saying that was going on in the last few years of match my energy. First of all, if a client is upset and elevated in tone and energy and everything like that, the last thing you want to do is match their energy. You're a professional. This is not the streets. Contrary to popular belief, no one has ever made someone respect them raising their voice, yelling, or doing anything like that. It's not that no one has ever. You may make someone fear you, but that's not respect. It's never been respect, never will be respect, anything like that. It's not respect. And you need to keep that in mind. And you need to and again, you need to you need to check yourself. You are a professional first and foremost. Professional. And you need to get out of your feelings. Get out of your feelings of being upset because someone doesn't like the service that you did. Use it as a motivator for you to learn the next thing. Anytime I've ever had a client who has not liked the service, or who I've seen maybe not come back and sit in my chair but sit in another barber's chair, my first thought is to watch, and the first thing I do is to watch how the other barber cuts their hair. right? How the other barber cuts their hair. Watch how they cut their hair, and then I will learn from that. But you do realize that, like, sometimes it's not about how the other barber cuts somebody's hair. Sometimes it's the relationship that the client feels like they can have with the barber. Because barbering is not all about just haircuts. Barbering is mainly about relationships. And whether it's a personal relationship with you and the client, or the a personal relationship between the client and the shop. Because the client may come in and sit in everybody's chair, but maybe they just like the environment. Maybe they just like the environment. Right? Have you ever been somewhere and be like, man, I really just I like being in this zone, in this place. I like being here. I believe we've all been like that. Right? And there may not be everything about that environment may not be great, but something about that environment makes them feel makes you feel good, right? And I can go here again. You know, I can go here again. There's a lot of times that and I'll say this. There's been restaurants and places that I've been where the food was not so great, but I enjoyed the environment. So I went back and dealt with the not so great food for the environment. It is what it is, guys. And you really have to sit down again, like I said, and look inward at yourself. How are you operating? How are you moving? How are you dealing with the customers? What is your tone? Are you respectful? Being respectful, and I'm gonna say this: being respectful does not make you weak. By no means does being respectful make you weak. Just thought I'd put that out there in case anybody thought that it did. It doesn't. Right? Jumping at every conversation and making sure that you say something to every person, and I'm going to tell them how I feel and what's on my mind and all. First of all, listen, most people don't even care what's on your mind. They said what they said and they meant what they said, and that's all that it is. So what value does it have for you to go back and forth with someone to try to prove a point? Once emotions are elevated or emotions are brought into a situation, nobody is listening. They're trying to stack on top of each other to get the last word in. They're not listening really. It's just emotion driven conversation. Oh, you said this, well, I'm gonna say this, and you said this, and I'm gonna say this, and you said this, and I'm gonna say this. It doesn't prove anything. You want to nip it in the bud? Don't get excited. I don't care how you feel on the inside, right? I'm not going to tell you that I don't get upset. I'm not going to tell you that I don't get angry, but I try I do my best not to display said anger, right? I do my best not to display said anger. I'll tell you the biggest reason I do, especially in a shop. Let me tell you the biggest reason I don't display my anger. One of the biggest reasons I don't display anger in the shop is for one reason and one reason only. When the client walked through this door, right, they knew that they were coming into a place where they had to pay for a service. Now, we're not we're not an extremely high end shop, so the prices are very reasonable. But they knew that they were not coming in here to get a free service. They knew that. Now, because they knew that, I can live at peace in saying, you can be rude, you can be disrespectful, and everything like that to a certain extent. But I'm not going to match your energy in anything that uh, that you say. I'm not. I'm going to counter everything you say to keep this going, so we can get this piece over with. That's what I'm going to do. Why? Because at the end of the day, you still have to pay me for this service. We have had an even exchange. I have given you my time by providing the service. You are going to give me money in exchange for that. It don't get any more simple than that. You are going to give me money in exchange for this service. Okay. Are we good? We're good. Right? I had a client one time come in. I think I may have said this before, told this story before, but if you haven't heard it, here we go. Client came in one time, and it was not one of my preferred clients. He was a walk-in, not one of my preferred walk-ins, but I had an empty chair, and I just said, okay, we'll do it. And he's a mover. Client is a mover. Very stubborn, even with requests like, hey, can you turn your head towards me? All of that kind of stuff. I don't know really his background or anything like that, but it makes it difficult for me. Like, I'm not 6 feet tall with a 72-inch wingspan. I got short arms and I'm short. Not a midget, but I'm short. So I need you to work with me if we want the service to come out correctly. And so, and the last time the client came in, he comes in. I'm like, all right, come on, man, sit down, so on and so forth. So I'm cutting his hair, and getting towards the end of the service, and I hand him the mirror, and the client looks at me and says, man, you hit or miss. He's like, sometimes you on, sometimes you off. And instantly, I got upset. Now, did I change my facial expression? I don't really know. I don't know. I don't feel like I did. I may have, but I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, it happens. I said, and this is how I countered that. I said, we're all humans. Sometimes we make mistakes. It just happens. Every day's not my best day. And I left it at that. Now, I could have been like, oh, what you say to me? Blah, 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 blah. And I could have popped off and turned into a whole different scenario. Could have been something totally different. But like I said, when he walked through the door, he knew that he had to pay for a service. I knew that when you sit in the chair, you're going to pay for this service. You've been here a couple times. You know how this works. And this is not about getting, and I'm going to say this is not about getting pimped for money or anything like that. That's not what that's about. But why would I get upset? For what reason would I get upset? This client has been coming to the shop on and off for 4 years. Every time he comes in, he's upset because we're booked and can't take any appointments, or we're booked and we can't take walk-ins. I've said numerous times, hey man, if you want to get in, book an appointment. Never did it. Or if he has booked an appointment, few and far between, he booked an appointment and then don't show up. I don't know what to tell you at all. Have no idea what you want me to tell you. I provide the service. I provided the service because I had an opening. I had the availability. But am I going? I'm still getting I'm still getting paid. I took something that I love, which is barbering, and allowed it to be the thing that takes care of my family. I said I'm willing to exchange this amount of time to provide for my family doing this job. While I am a community servant, while I do care about the community, I also care about taking care of my family. And in order for me to take care of my family, guess what? I got to get paid. Now, on the opposite end of that, I work very hard to obtain new knowledge every single day about cutting hair. Every day. I'm improving, I'm growing, I'm figuring out new ways to do different things. And every single day, I'm doing this. It's all I talk about. Barbering, barber school, this, that, and like everything that I do is wrapped around cutting hair. So every day now, because I operate like that, and my skills have and continue to have continued to develop over the years, guess what? It's grown. Everything has grown. And I'm no longer I'm no longer stressed about what's going on. So when I say that like I'm gonna say this, and we're gonna wind it up here. Like, listen, money is a natural consequence. And what does that mean? Well, if I'm willing to exchange this amount of time or do this thing, money is going to come. So I feel like if you're going to be a barber, I feel like you should be the best barber that you could possibly be. Have the best skills, have the best, like you should have the best. You should work to be the best. Work quietly. I work quietly if you need to. Improving your skills, understanding what's going on, understanding the way that all of these things about it like again, this is all about the personal development. Hey, you could run a chop shop and throw them in and out the chair. Some people may like that. That's just not my thing. It's not, it is in no way, shape, or form my thing. I grew up desiring to be the best at whatever I did. Right? When I played basketball, I wanted to be Jordan. When I played football, I wanted to be Emmett and Barry Sanders, and I wanted to be the best. They gave me something to push. I didn't want to be a bench player or the practice squad. I didn't. That wasn't what I wanted. So every time I stepped out in whatever arena that I was in, I gave it all that I had. And guess what? My all that I had when I started playing sports, when I started playing football at, I think I was 11. When I started playing football at 10 or 11 versus what it looked like when I went to college was two totally different players. But I kept the same mentality. I want to be the best. And if you want to be the best, you can't be half stepping. You can't halfway do things. You want to be the best, guess what? You got to ask some questions. Hey, Jordan had a trainer. All of these, a personal trainer. The best have personal trainers. So what does that mean for you? You need a mentor. Why would it, why, and why would you decide to wake up every day and to go do what you have decided to do to only be subpar? To only be this, to only be basic. Why would you decide to do that? It doesn't even make any sense. And I understand, and this is that transition from the employment world to whatever. I understand. I heard a guy say this the other day. He said, if I went to work and I decided that today I was going to throw 1,000 boxes in a truck, and the person next to me was only going to do 500, we was going to get the same paycheck. I understand that theory, right? But you're so used to being an employee, you don't understand now. Your income is based on you. The the proof of burden, meaning the responsibility, lies on you. It lies on you. That's where the responsibility lies. Is on you. There is no safety net in your little or large. There is no safety net. And so you have to do everything you can to be the best that you can so you can take care of whatever it is. What is your why and what do you desire? The things that you desire, you're going to have to take care. You're going to have to take care of it. This is not. This is not the I can do whatever I want career path. If you do whatever you want, your customers, your clients, your people are going to pay you whenever they want. It's just the bottom line. You operate in a half manner, they're going to pay you in a half manner. Sucks to suck, don't it? It's just it is what it is. It is what it is, guys. So look, man, your personal development is so necessary. Making that change for growth is so necessary, and it's going to be hard because you're going to have to break old habits, old thought processes, and everything. Like, you're going to have to break all of those things down, and you're going to have to rebuild it. And it's best you find somebody to help you rebuild it that is already where you desire to be. You need a role model and a mentor. You need someone that you look up to who was honest and who's maybe not all, but their general footsteps are on display. So you can follow in their general footsteps. It is what it is. You guys, I've said this before. Get you a mentor, get you some role models, keep pushing, keep going forward. You'll figure it out. Like I said last night, if you didn't hear me, the answers to the questions that you desire are out there. You have to go and find them. No one is going to bring you the answers and be like, "Hey, I heard." They're not going to do that. They're not. You have to be willing to go forward, even blind, go forward and figure it out. That's all there is to it. All there is to it. And I need you to understand that. I need you to understand. Guys, listen, really appreciate you guys tuning in. This has been episode 107. This has been episode 107 of the Band of Barbers podcast. Man, we have met our 2-year goal, 2-year content goal, and we're pushing forward. This has just become a part of daily life now for me, and I try to sit down and like I said, share this knowledge with y'all, share this thought process, share it so you understand, like, hey, this is real. I'm a real person with real issues, real things. I think real thoughts. I'm not just giving you some carbon copy of, I'm not, no. We're really, really thinking, really talking, really having some discussions. And if you have some questions, you have some things that you want to ask, please go down in the comments of your respective source or wherever you're listening to this at. Go down in the comments. Please chat with us. Let us know what's going on. We want to know what you guys are thinking and how you feel about what's going on. And we want to help you if you're struggling. Right? We want to help you if you're struggling. Right? Iron sharpens iron. The band grows bigger when we link arms and close in together. Let's grow. Let's have a great 2024. Hey, we're already a month and a few days in. Don't waste this time. Don't waste this time. You guys have a wonderful night. We'll talk tomorrow.